Terraria's weapons have always been a bit hit or miss, with many standout meta options, usually dominating playthroughs and diluting variety since their release. So, what if we beat Terraria, but you can upgrade weapons throughout the game, giving us the opportunity to shine the spotlight on many previously irrelevant options? Oh well, thanks to the Pack-a-Punch mod, that's exactly what we're going to be doing today. Oh, and although this series wasn't a while back in parts, today you can enjoy all of its goodness in a juicy 40 minutes of chaos. So, grab some popcorn or an equally fulfilling snack, get super comfortable, and let's almost crack on with our journey. As if you really want to enjoy some nutrition during today's video, you'll want to hear about today's sponsor, and none other than my personal favourite meal kit company, HelloFresh. Now, as someone who's never usually cared about preparing proper meals, seriously, like this is what I'd previously called food, HelloFresh's weekly meal kits have been an absolute game changer, offering over 50 restaurant quality recipes that can all be prepared quickly and effortlessly by someone who knows literally nothing about cooking. For instance, just the other week, I prepared a quick Korean-inspired lamb rigatoni with mushroom and cheese, a quick beef and bean chili with basmati rice and cheese, and my favourite yet, burgers, with zesty pineapple relish and lime dressed with carrot salad. Oh, and now is the absolute best time to give it a try, as if you sign up using my code or QR, you'll get 10 free meals and free appetizers for life. Now, if this hasn't won you over and you're still on the fence, let me ask you something. Do you like time? Really? Me too, because let me tell you, the time HelloFresh saves out of buying groceries, finding the right recipe, and actually making the food is a godsend. The process is stress-free and usually prepared in around 30 minutes or less. I truly cannot overstate how much you've got to give one of these boxes a try and taste to see for yourself. So again, if you want to prepare the best fresh home-cooked meals every single week, sign up today, as you not only get free appetizers forever, but help support the sockrteez channel so I can keep bringing the content you love. Alright, with sustenance sorted, let's crack on with today's wild Terraria journey. Starting off, the routes of this playthrough seem pretty typical, with casual deforestation being our first objective. However, if we scoot on over to the left slightly, you might see something a little interesting.
A Pack-a-Punch machine.
Hell yeah, that's a one and only Pack-a-Punch machine, which would allow us to upgrade our weapons going forward.
Yeah, this is the best mod of all time.
And while it may not be much use to us right now, while we continue getting set up, let me explain exactly how this will work. Basically, thanks to the Pack-a-Punch mod, over 100 weapons can be put in this machine and return us with an upgraded version, which will benefit from a whole manner of buffs, like increased damage, fire rate, projectile count, and even some unique additional effects. So, what's the cost for such upgrades? Well, really not that far out of reach actually, with pre-evil boss weapons costing 25 gold, pre-wall costing 50, and hard mode costing a plat each. Oh, and there's also like perk machines with perks too. Anyway, with all that said in stone, I guess 25 gold was our mission now, which as you can see, I was having little luck with on the surface, with seriously some of the most underwhelming loot I'd ever had the pleasure of nicking. So it was about time we built a quick leaning tower of NPCs and got ourselves a bit more out there, which I don't know why I did at night.
Oh my god, how am I alive?
Yep. And so with us afterwards actually heading properly underground for the first time,
Whoa!
we finally started accumulating some level of valuable loot. Nah, I'm just kidding, and got our first live crystal.
Hey, saw that one. Didn't see that one though. Flipping hell.
Yeah, this ice cave really sucked in the end. And funny enough, back on the surface, we actually picked up our first potential upgradable weapon, the Wand of Sparking, which could be an option, I suppose. Ooh. But with not even a single gold to our name yet, this was nothing but wishful thinking at this point, as we still had a good bit of work to do. And after finishing exploring our entire surface left to right, it unfortunately appeared that there wasn't a single obvious cave entrance that actually led somewhere across our entire world. Ouch. So I guess after putting my pants on... Wait, what? After pooing my pants on... So I guess after pooing my pants one last time, we had no other choice but to mine our own, right outside our base, which in hindsight was the best thing we could have possibly done, as after just a few minutes of digging, we were seriously back on track. Hey, and the spoils finally started to roll in, starting with this band of regen, keen mace, which although was cool could not be upgraded sadly, and a much needed mobility upgrade in the form of Hermes boots. So yeah, progress was starting to be made, and quickly too, because with some sweet armor upgrades crafted, and genuinely more life crystals encountered in one small area than I think I've ever seen in my life, we were slowly beginning to close into our first boss kill against the Eye of Cthulhu, which if I'm honest, was only being delayed due to the lingering fact we still didn't have a single upgraded weapon. Not for long though, hopefully, as with money starting to seriously roll in, thanks to our merchant, we only needed a little more gold to upgrade our pre-brain of confusion weapon, which did get me thinking, what's the best pre-brain weapon we can select that'll give us the biggest bang for our buck? Well, with us next heading to our Crimson to smash open some hearts, I think it's pretty clear what I had in mind. Oh yeah, it was the Undertaker's time to shine. An already insanely busted weapon for when you could obtain was about to become even better. Hold your horses though, as although this upgrade was right around the corner, we still had a little bit more money to grind, which after exploring our ice biome for a bit and getting another load of life crystals, like sir, I've never got this many so fast, it was finally time to upgrade our Undertaker at our glorious Pack-a-Punch machine. Boom.
There it is, our first Pack-a-Punch.
Not only did this weapon get a sick new name and a stat buff, but also one of the most incredible unexpected bonuses of all time. Explosive bullets. I guess this is just the Mustang and Sally of the Terraria world, and on first impressions would be a hard carry for us at this stage of the game. Like, is this even fair, dude? So I mean, what are we waiting for? Let's crack on with some bosses, with us first spending the remaining hours of the day preparing for the brain, and then the first few hours of the night obliterating the eye. And let me tell you, obliterating is a bit of an understatement, as I can't explain just how perfect this weapon upgrade was for this boss in particular, as the explosive bullets pretty much delete any servants before they can even become an issue. And that's not even mentioning its sweet damage buff, and this could just be the placebo effect by the way, its improved fire rate.
Was that no hit almost? Oh my god.
And just like that, after one of my cleanest fights ever, the eye was down. Damn, if this was only a taste of what weapon upgrades had to offer going forward, then I am bloody excited. So I mean, let's start thinking about our next one right now, which you know, I was feeling in a summonery mood about. Anyway, while we let that thing grow, let's explode the living hell out our brain I guess. Which, massive disclaimer by the way, I am absolutely garbage at this fight, which is 50% because I have the reaction time of a pensioner, and 50% the fact I hadn't fought this boss properly since like 1.2. Yeah, I'm really sorry Crimson Gang, but you know, maybe this playthrough would begin to convert me, as despite my lack of knowledge, I found the fight really chill, especially with my Pack-a-Punch gun doing most of the work for me. And after really not long at all, just like that,
oh thank god, we'll genuinely nearly die.
Our second boss was down, yielding us a lovely ring of confusion, which is better than the worm scarf, like me, and a bunch more money towards our next weapon upgrade. And speaking of next weapon upgrade, it was already closing in pretty fast. Well, unless of course we wanted to go the extra mile and get the 50 gold weapon upgrade, but we'll see. Because in the meantime, it was time to get, at the very least, an increased jump height, because our mobility was nowhere near good enough for Skeletron, and some more housing, as we were seriously lacking on our NPC game. Right. I guess it was time to get back on the money grind then, so we can upgrade more weapons for a chance at Skeletron. And what a better way to do that than grinding the hell out of a boss we already know we can destroy. Sorry Brain of Cthulhu, but our explosive revolver is just too perfect for this. And you know, I think I'm already getting the hang of this fight. I mean, it's far from hitless, but honestly, still probably easier than the Eater of Wilds. I'm gonna get destroyed for saying that, aren't I? Anyway, regardless of corruption versus Crimson Law,
my thing killed it, that's so funny.
We had just made some serious bank, and after selling a few more spare accessories, we're just coins away from either 2 brand new weapon upgrades or a post-brain big un. which just before I made my decision was rudely interrupted by this meteor. And guess what? The space gun is totally a weapon we could upgrade to. I love that reference as well. So I guess, for the sake of choice, let's head over there and mine some of that sweet stuff, which while doing so, did result in me concluding that variety would be the way to go, and so who knows what hidden abilities these upgraded weapons could possess. Also, although upgrading a tier 2 weapon like the mini shag would have been awesome,
39, man.
I'm not getting another 40 gold, come on guys. So, decision made, what would we be taking us through Skeletron and beyond? Aha, a staff. Because if you know COD zombies, then you'll know that these are pretty good. And, as our stupid Abigail's flower hadn't grown in time, a flink staff, because why not? And so with us heading right on over to our Pack-a-Punch machine, it was time to lock him in. So I wonder, aside from a nice damage boost, what does an upgraded amethyst staff look like?
Oh my god.
Oh yeah. And as for the flinks, while a little more tame on the surface, would still offer us a lovely passive damage boost, which was more than welcome at this point. So I guess, with our arsenal utterly pimped out at this point, let's head straight over to our dungeon and completely ruin Skeletron's evening. So, after spending a bit of time building an arena and treating myself to a spot of pre-aim training,
Dude, what?
we were all ready to go. And just like that, the fight was underway. Now, interestingly, I thought our pseudo-death sickle would be absolutely perfect for this fight. But you know, due to the way these projectiles linger, it wasn't actually that overpowered. So we do actually have to switch between our Undertaker quite a bit during this fight, which is great to still be relevant, I guess. Oh, and if you were wondering how the actual fight was going...
There you go, one down. Can we get the other?
Well, let's just say all was swell, as regardless of which upgraded weapon we used, we had a solid damage output, which combined with our high armor and health, meant this fight was an absolute doddle. And when you look at that, Skeletron was in fact down.
And you're dead, sire.
Nice one. And to put the cherry on the cake, had rewarded us with the best boss drop I could have possibly asked for. Yeah, with only a 33% drop rate, the Book of Skulls was in fact an already great weapon we could upgrade even further. Before all that though, we were still extremely poor, and before delving headfirst into our dungeon of potential riches, I wanted to give it our best shot by getting fully geared up beforehand. Which after heading to our jungle for the first time, bloody spoiled us with so many riches. Like, genuinely, if I knew about this place earlier, it would have had such a damn easy early game, with not only the perfect chest loot just everywhere for some reason, but also an excess of live crystals, which nicely got us up to cap in a jiffy. Sweet. And so with our little jungle venture complete, and a nice-ish amount of money accumulated, I guess it was time to go full on and pillage our dungeon. Now then, after looking forward a tad, there were actually a bunch of potential weapon upgrades we could obtain from here, so it was crucial that we looted this thing top to bottom. Which, you know, with our insane vengeful spirit staff in hand,
Oh, what a perfect weapon. Ow.
would not be a problem at all, as despite its subpar performance against Skeletron earlier, its crowd controlling abilities were unmatched, and let's not forget just how insane being able to shoot through walls are this early. Oh, and just like that, after getting a few repeats, we could now take one potential weapon upgrade
Yay.
off the list, the Aqua Scepter, which in all seriousness could be our wall of flesh killing weapon. That's way too early to decide on though, because we still hadn't even scratched the surface of what could be upgraded.
The handgun will pretty much always be the last chest you open for reasons of something. It'll be on the wiki.
Which not long after our first success was quickly followed by a beautiful handgun, which if you hadn't guessed yet, could be upgraded another 2 times thanks to the Phoenix Blaster. Definitely something to consider. So I guess, with the dungeon providing exactly what we needed, let's get out of there and review our financial situation, which although looked pretty poor right now, was all pending in the forms of suspicious looking eyes.
Oh, I'll tell you what.
Oh yeah, all those chests had given us an absolute motherload. And so with plenty of nights still remaining, let's fund our next upgrade by grinding the living hell out of the eye, which with better weapons than ever before in hand was just pure bliss, and literally within 2 or 3 minutes had all 5 eyes down. this was just what we were looking for at this point, as we were seriously beginning to collect more potential weapons to upgrade, and we knew what to do with. So, what would be our next one right now? Well, after looking through our options, while an upgraded Aquaceptor would be insane, I had other plans for the wall,
I'm gonna do this. Screw it.
and really wanted to use the Book of Skulls, as I don't think I ever actually have.
Necrovision.
And damn, I think I made the right choice here, as this thing was now dealing about 30% more damage for half the mana cost. Yep, that's the real kicker.
And like, because they're upgraded, the mana consumption's not even that bad.
So, with our offensive abilities at an all-time high, what was next for us? Well, as mentioned, this wasn't actually all the weapon upgrades I had planned, as although the Book of Skulls was sweet, would not be ideal for the wall. Also, as you can see, it was about time we invested some of our money into things other than just weapon upgrades, as our mobility was seriously slacking. And so after utterly annihilating our goblin army, without a mana flower by the way, that upgrade is just nuts, we could finally have a chance of bumping into the con man himself.
Oh, hello, good sire.
Which, will you look at that, just minutes later in our jungle, decided to show his face.
Right, this is where we cry a bit.
Now, although spending all of our money on this stuff seemed counterproductive at this point, it would all come back around, as these accessories and reforges would help us defeat a few more bosses to get
we love
more
that, we love
rich.
that.
Oh, and I did decide to pivot full mage now, I guess.
Oh, we love that. Alright.
Okay, heading back to our underground jungle, if you hadn't guessed, I wanted to get a queen bee kill, which really was probably the one boss I usually completely miss, as I'm not too fussed about her drops. However, with the bee gun having a potential upgrade for us,
Ow.
I figured why not? And goddamn, although I was a little rusty at this fight to say the least, our budget Death Sickle did all the heavy lifting for us, with it being absolutely perfect for such a close quarters boss fight, which combined with our newly obtained Necrovision book meant the poor old queen was getting absolutely destroyed.
Nice.
Boom, another boss down. And will you look at that, guys? Another potential Wall of Flesh murdering upgrade. We'll keep this one in mind, I guess. As once again, while we may have had the options, we definitely did not have the funding to keep up. Like, we're just spoiled for choice at this point. So I guess, in the meantime, let's just get our elevator mind, head to the underworld,
And welcome to hell.
and obtain plenty of Hellstone while we plan for our near future. Which didn't really help, as while down there, we once again kept bumping into more awesome weapons I'd love to see upgraded. I guess we can't have them all though, and I had to make a decision soon. Which luckily took me so long to decide was decided for me by the Terraria gods.
Oh, yes! We got it so quick, dude.
Oh yeah, the already insanely busted Demon Scythe could and would be upgraded even further for our Wall of Flesh kill. Like, how could we not? I never get this thing. So, now we have the vision, let's at the very least stick to our guns and upgrade our Phoenix Blaster we planned earlier. As although the Demon Scythe would be great, wouldn't hurt from having an alternative to switch through when low on mana. And luckily, we really weren't that far off getting both upgrades bought anyway, with a few more Eye of Cthulhu kills basically getting us all the money we needed. Oh, also, since the weather turned, I figured that would be the absolutely perfect point for a Deerclops kill, and would just get us over that finishing line for our final pre-hard mode upgrades.
Come on, big lad.
So, after making a little bit of a mockery of him, I tell a lie, this fight can't upload because it's meant for melee, we finally had enough money to upgrade our beloved Demon Scythe at our Pack-a-Punch machine, which looking at those stats would be absolutely divine for us going forward, and that's not even mentioning the fact it only costs 6 mana now. Okay, with our god weapon in hand and re-rolled accordingly, I guess it was time to head back to hell
Here we
and prep
go.
for the big occasion, which after buffing up was ready to... Oh, for flipping hell. Okay, guys, seriously. How the hell do I dictate which way the wall spawn? This has happened every freaking playthrough. It's fine. It's fine.
Oh, what the hell?
Because at the other end of the platform, it was time for our actual, genuine first
we go.
attempt. Because that last one never happened. Okay, let's do this. Starting off, as you'd expect, our Hell's Lawnmower was excellent at dealing with the hungry and swiftly getting onto the main eyes, which just in time allowed us to switch to our overclocked Phoenix Blaster and deal even more damage than you could normally deal with his already busted combo.
Yeah, that damage is nuts.
And well, what can I say? Because aside from our ludicrous money equals power wall kill, this was at least our second best, and maybe even a bit smoother. As even with our potion sickness starting to stack, nothing mattered.
Yeah, this is just a flipping cakewalk, dude.
Because before the wall's super speed could even catch up to us, he was dead.
GG.
Damn. Yeah, I'm kinda glad I took so long deciding what to upgrade, because that was literally the perfect combo for us. And of course, the stakes had just got a lot higher, as it was time to upgrade hard mode gear. But first, we of course had our wall spoils to enjoy, which if I'm honest, couldn't have been less what we were looking for. This didn't really matter though, as for what I had planned, our overclocked pre-hard mode weapons would probably be more than strong enough already. As after looking for our upgradable weapon list of wonders,
Ooh, Divine Judgment.
I was certain that something like an upgraded Sky Fracture would give us the firepower we need, hopefully for a very long time. So, let's get the ball rolling, I guess.
I think we go get the Sky Fracture, chaps.
As although the Sky Fracture would be relatively easy to make, we still had generic early hard mode festivities to crack on with first, which after destroying our Crimson of Altars, nicely gave us the best possible hard mode or combo.
Titanium, look at that, guys.
So nice to see, man. So, I suppose it was time to get down there and start working towards, at the very least, full titanium armor before we fought our next boss. Which, while doing so, did truly show me just how insane our pre-hard mode upgrades actually were, as I was having absolutely no trouble taking out tanky hard mode enemies with our Necrovision book. However, it was obvious that this wouldn't be viable forever.
Oh yeah, we need this upgrade.
And although getting the ingredients for our previously planned Sky Fracture would be simple-ish, getting the now increased Platinum coin required for the upgrade would be more of a concern, as we were kind of poor.
How much we got in here? None. We've got 38 gold.
So it was about time we built ourselves a nice little layer farm. Oh yeah, my favourite. And yeah, you may deem this slightly unnecessary, but when you think about how many upgrades we might go through this playthrough, having a steady source of income at this point would be crucial. And so with steady construction now underway...
Oh, it's an underground hallowed thingy. Oh, and we got that handbat on the first kill.
Weirdly in between an underground ice hallowed. All we needed were a few mimics from this farm for our financial situation to be rejuvenated. Oh, and yeah, to say this was a bodge job would be an understatement, as well, this was the most functional Lux farm I think I've ever built.
Alright, farm. It's so ugly. What is that?
Anyway, after finally getting our wizard appointed to our council housing, which was desperately needed at this point, the money started to properly roll in.
47 gold? Flipping hell.
And gave us plenty to pay for our next weapon upgrade. Well, did. Assuming we actually get our money back.
Give me it.
Which, funny enough, was only our second concern at this point. Because in case you missed it, a cheeky mech worm decided to create some vibrations from deep below. Ew. And just like that, genuinely gave me a shock to see once I was back on the surface. And well, yeah.
When did that happen? I missed that message completely.
Let's just say we weren't going to be winning this one. But don't you worry, because soon it'd be a completely different story, as I had some seriously exciting plans after we obtained the Sky Fracture. Which, speaking of, we were very close to obtaining. All we had to do was create a hallowed desert, because our world didn't have any sadly, to farm ourselves some light shards, which for normal people wouldn't usually take too long. But in typical Socrates luck, we had to casually remove 2 entire meteorites which decided to land in our only large desert.
Dude, what are the chances of that?
Anyway, once getting that sorted, it really wasn't long before we had 2 light shards in hand.
Yes!
And with plenty of swords of light already obtained from our farm, and just like that, the Sky Fracture was in hand, and immediately upgraded into the so-called Divine Judgment. Sweet. But guess what? Although we had just sacrificed a load of time to get this thing, I didn't actually plan to defeat any mech bosses with it, but in fact I was going to use it to help us obtain a particular mount for a particular reason. Before that though, our mobility was utter garbage, so let's quickly head to space and farm some wyverns and harpies, which still till this day, our pre-hard mode Hell's Lawnmower was still packing a punch. Wait, is that another pun again? Okay. If you hadn't guessed by now, Queen Slime would be our next boss kill, which after waiting a decade for more hallowed to spread, seriously, I spent half a set waiting for literal grass to grow. It was time to begin the fight. Which, yeah, I mean, normally the regular Skyraptor is a fantastic weapon choice for this large flying boss, so give it more damage, attack rate, and a ton less mana cost, and you've got yourself a winning weapon. Which really filled my hopes up for the next boss we'll be defeating with this thing, because with Queen Slime now down...
Sweet. Man, that was probably genuinely the best Queen Slime fight I've had.
And luckily the mount we were just looking for in hand, it's about time I spilt the beans on what we were gonna do. Basically, I was feeling extra spicy today, and fancied a pre-mech Jew defeat. Oh yeah. So after quickly getting a truffle worm in hand, I got to work on a big old arena, which would be a key aspect of what will make this fight bearable. Because let me tell you, even with a better than vanilla upgraded weapon, this was not going to be an easy feat, as mobility was everything here. Luckily though, that was precisely why we went out our way to get the Queen Slime mount, as not only did this thing have the vertical speed to dodge Duke, but also freed up some accessory slots.
What the hell did I do?
Which I could replace with more mage damage. Good stuff. So let's... wait a minute.
Say what I will do, because I can't see a knacking thing.
Okay, now I can actually see a damn thing. Let's give this our first attempt, and really get a feel of what our divine judgment can do. Starting off, I have to say things were just fantastic, because as someone who's used the Sky Fracture frequently, it was utterly divine to be able to fire it so long before losing any damage. And that's not even mentioning the fact most of its stats were buffed from a base anyway. And well, as you can see, the true outcome of this fight relied on my ability to dodge and not really the weapon in hand. And with all things seemingly going well so far, I was optimistic we'd get this pre-mech Duke kill no problem. But then I remembered something. I was utter garbage at Duke's final stage, and even though I had remembered to equip a Shield of Cthulhu, still would require a level of skill I'm most definitely lacking. And well, yeah. No! Close call, but not quite on the first attempt. So I mean, let's just skip right ahead to when I did finally gain the competence to survive this final attack.
You know, this one's been better than the last one already, like, this has just been flipping chill.
As let's be honest, the majority of this fight is pretty chill with this setup. Ah, there we have it folks. I think my first pre-mech Duke kill this year, maybe. So the question now is, what would be carrying us up to Plantera and beyond? Honestly, I'd take anything with the bloody stuff. Yes! Honestly, couldn't have asked for anything better here.
Oh, yep. Oh, yep.
And you want to know the best part? With the amount of grinding and boss killing we've just done, we had plenty of stashed cash to get the upgrade immediately. So I mean, before even properly testing the regular boring Razorblade Typhoon, ew, let's bang that thing in the Pack-a-Punch machine and turn it up to 11, which hysterically seems to be turned up even past 11 with this weapon in particular. Like, what the actual hell is that damage buff? And come on, from 16 mana a shot to a measly 6. 6 mana. So I think it's safe to say we'd be pretty cozy for a long time with this thing. So let's pack and have some fun. Starting off with our criminally overdue mech bosses, who seriously would not be prepared for what was about to get him.
Oh no!
Because with the poor old destroyer summoned, he was going to be dead long before I could even regret not buffing up or expanding my arena. It simply just didn't matter thanks to this godlike weapon. So I guess why stop now? Because our Razorblade Hurricane was hungry for some eyes, in particular the twins, which while not effective as against the destroyer, was still melted in about 30 seconds.
Where's my flipping gelatine thing on? Okay.
But I mean, come on, who's really surprised here?
Oh no! Skeletron Prime.
Because in a regular playthrough, this already breaks progression, so to be able to do this with a 25% damage buffed version was just blissful. And speaking of blissful, it was time to take down the entire trio, with Prime, funnily enough, posing the biggest threat out the three so far. Not to worry though, as like many other victims today, although I may have completely deserted any defensive stats and capabilities, that didn't matter at all, because as you know, the best defense is dealing with the threat long before it can even become an issue, which by the looks of things here, had worked an absolute charm. So I guess we're at quite a strange place now, which in many ways mirrors our money equals power playthrough, with a blitzkrieg of jungle bosses just around the corner. However, I have thought of a little side objective in respect to some old zombies challenges. Yes, why don't we just upgrade every weapon in the game before Moonlord? But of course before that, we had our highly anticipated jungle boss Blitzkrieg just around the corner.
Alright, what we got money-wise?
Which after quickly reforging our Hurricane to be even more busted, still required a little bit of prep before the big sweep, with us having plenty of chlorophyte ore and life roots to scavenge first. Which funnily enough, both weren't going to be as impactful as I originally intended. As with us pivoting fully to Mage now, my plan was to save our chlorophyte to go straight to Spectre Armor after Plantera. And well, as for the life root situation, I have absolutely no idea.
I genuinely don't think life root is spawning in this world.
Like genuinely, tell me what I've missed here. So I guess, with us having no choice but to soldier on with a puny 400 health, I guess we had no choice but to properly challenge ourselves against Plantera. Who am I kidding? Because honestly, I don't think our defensive situation was going to make any difference. And with us finding a lovely old Plantera bulb conveniently right next to our temple, let's clear some space, just in case, and delete that planty boy.
Plantera.
Which, being brutally honest here, was way more of a threat than I was originally expecting. Like, maybe we're starting to approach the time we should really step down from our high horse, because our time to kill, although still ludicrous, could soon force us to at least use 1% of brain power during fights.
I may have certainly screwed myself with Featherfall.
Either way though, Plantera was down, and did actually give us another summon weapon which could be upgraded. Yeah, man, it kinda sucks though. We'll have to think about it, because right now, we had more important things to worry about, like the big lad that is Gollum, which after swiftly pillaging through our dungeon and finding the smallest altar room of all time.
Alright, this is our room. Ooh, it's a bit small, isn't it?
Thank God we're OP, let's not waste any more time and defeat the easiest of the two jungle menaces, which by the looks of things would be once again over rather quickly. You do know what though, I've got to give Gollum some credit here, because at least he put up slightly more of a fight than Plantera, requiring me to actually move left and right for about 20 seconds.
It was close again, like that's the thing, we are literally just glass cannoning right now.
Anyway, upon his death, we sadly weren't as fortunate with our bank dropped, with the heat ray not only being trash, but unupgradable. So after quickly defeating Gollum for a second time, we got the same bloody thing.
Dude,
Forget
I've got
about it.
flipping double heat ray.
Let's move on, shall we? Right, with our next progression steps being the cultist, pillars, and therefore Moonlord, it was time to properly gear up, as weirdly our Razorblade Typhoon, although upgraded, was now on level with our progression point. So after spending a good bit of time in our dungeon getting loads of ectoplasm and new potential weapon upgrades,
Ooh.
it was finally time to upgrade that damn titanium armor we've been hanging on to for God knows how long. It's nice to finally wear a proper mage set. And speaking of mage, I think I want to stick with it, at least for now, as that decreased mana cost we get from bagger punching was just too good to miss. Oh, also, since we did have 4 plat to our name now, I did consider upgrading a few things. But you know, it's about time we dreamt bigger, and I mean a lot bigger.
Why is this upgrade in particular so mid?
As I intended to upgrade a lot more than just 4 weapons before Moonlord. Oh yeah guys, it was time to execute the most requested thing of all time. Here it is, the one and only Crystal Shard Money exploit, which just to be clear, I would normally definitely not do, but since we just built a complex money farm last series, screw it.
One eternity later.
So, some time had now passed, and money was once again not an issue. So what shall we do with it? Well, to be honest, although I mentioned upgrading every single weapon in the mod last episode, after further research, only a few selected weapons gain unique buffs and effects. So instead of boring you with all the upgrades nobody cares about, let's take a look at some of the things we could have had in the early game, starting with staffs, which much like in zombies, all have unique little effects. Okay, the hammer staff in particular would be our first one to try out. So after quickly nipping to the underground desert to collect some fossils,
Even in late game, this biome is hell.
and then extractinating a bunch of ember to craft it, let's bang that thing in the pack-a-punch machine and see what it can do. Pretty sweet, right? And probably quite overpowered for when you can obtain it, with its main projectile being replaced by the infamous Molotov cocktail. Perhaps I was a little optimistic over this weapon's performance though, as although I can see it being insane up to the wall of flesh, it was pretty diabolical against hard-mode bosses. Anyway, that's just one of the many unique staffs this mod offers, with the remaining craftable gem ones having some pretty interesting functionalities to say the least. So after gathering enough gems to last a lifetime, the Frozen Fury was up, the upgrade to the Sapphire Staff. This thing not only looked pretty cool, but absolutely melted the eye of Cthulhu. And yeah, I know I have a few mage buffs, because things were only going to get more busted from here, with the Howling Gale, the upgrade to the Emerald Staff, basically being a pre-hard mode leaf blower. Oh my god, I've always wanted that. Which once again seemed really strong for how early this thing can be obtained. And so far, we'd only looked at the tamest options, as next up was the Deatomizer, which would break the 100 damage mark, which for a pre-Skeletron weapon is completely insane.
Yeah, this is the most overpowered one yet.
And the best part is, although this looks to be the best pre-hard mode upgrade so far, we can even up that with the Secrum Sempra staff.
Holy crap!
My god, this thing.
Harry Potter people, is that a Snape spell?
From 24 damage to 135, with just 25 gold, which, yeah, may suffer from a nerfed attack speed, but regardless, I'm pretty sure you'll be one-shotting most pre-hard mode enemies with this thing anyway.
Hang on, this is actually really bad. I kind of need that money back.
So if you're looking at doing a playthrough with this mod, which I'd recommend, I don't see a reason not to get this thing early. Oh, also, last but not least, there was one other weapon upgrade I'd had my eye on for ages now, the quad barrel shotgun, as in my mind, a buff to this thing would pretty much restore it to its former glory pre-nerf. And I think it's safe to say that this version went above and beyond with satisfying my expectations. And holy hell, I bet this thing's fun to use. Alright, that's enough mucking around for now, because we've got a playthrough to finish, so let's head straight on over to our dungeon and commence the cultist fight. Now, just a few things to note here. One, the Typhoon would have to do a lot of heavy lifting here due to the cultist's partial immunity to homing, and two, something I only noticed later in editing, I accidentally did this entire fight without my Spectre leggings equipped. So rest in peace our set bonus, I guess. Luckily, however, the rainy weather had just come at the perfect time, meaning regardless of how long the fight took, I could easily dodge most of his attacks. And after a much cleaner fight than expected,
Lovely.
under these circumstances, it was time to crack on with the pillars, and more precisely, the Vortex pillar, as it was finally time for a massive weapon upgrade. And I truly mean massive here, as this might just be one of the best pack-a-punches in the entire mod. Hell yeah. The already insane Vortex Beta was about to get a facelift, with this upgrade potentially giving it the fastest fire rate of any weapon in the game. I mean, just listen to that thing go.
The fire rate, the spread, the chaos.
Oh, and that's not even mentioning the fact each bullet casually deals an extra 25% damage a shot. Yeah, this thing was just a monster, and did require a rapid last-minute switch to the Ranger class, as I wanted to evaporate the Moonlord out of existence. So after spending a bit of time gathering materials for Shroomite and getting a few ranged accessories to scale that weapon damage into orbit, we were by far the most broken we'd been the entire playthrough, with our primary weapon probably not being far off the SDMG now in terms of DPS. And with our final pillar now down, let's brace for the big event, which would only be moments away at this point. Boom, there he is, and yep, You know, I had a picture of
What's
the
our
power of
damage
this
like?
weapon, but I had
Dude.
genuinely no idea I'd kill it
Dude.
this fast. Like, let's be real, this is post-Mooner levels of damage at this point.
That's all the eyes dead, I think, already, is it?
And really, there isn't much more to say here, because in less than a minute,
Oh, yeah.
again, we had just beaten Terraria.
This thing's flipping insane.